Hi, and welcome to today's Psychosomatic, which is going to be gallbladder problems. Now, just very briefly, if this is a new topic for you, then I would highly recommend that you watch the video, What is Psychosomatics? And then come back to me and join me here for this video. And if you're familiar with my research and my work, especially this big book, Metaphysical Anatomy, which is of 679 medical elements, and the psychosomatic stress of that for adults, then you will have already quite a clear understanding of where we're going to be going with this. So, today is all about gallbladder. So here we have it up there. So let's have a look and see. So gallbladder problems already relates to when something or someone has been treating you in a very harsh way, in a very perhaps unkind or very hostile way. It doesn't always have to actually be abusive. It can just be a very cold way, but over a long period of time. It's almost like someone, like hammering and happing and biting and biting and biting at you, and it wears the person down, right? It would emotionally and psychologically and emotionally in all levels, it will wear you down. Now, in this case, it's also now almost having a physical effect because the gallbladder is all about I feel so attacked, I feel frustrated, I feel angry that you don't respect my boundaries. But on top of that, it's instead of feeling powerless, instead of feeling like a victim, what happens with people with gallbladder problems is that they almost harden their attitude, they harden their personality, they harden the internal world as a coping and safety mechanism to protect themselves from people and harsh environments. Because people with gallbladder problems, they tend to be very delicate, they tend to be very sensitive souls. So all this harshness is taking a very bitter toll on him. I'm already using the word bitter because, of course, it leaves a deep sense of bitterness, not powerlessness, not being feeling victimized, but feeling bitter, right? So it's almost like people with gallbladder problems. I've seen that their self-esteem is actually pretty healthy, but they still lean towards being the peacekeeper, and it's leaning towards being the peacekeeper that is still causing them to feel the psychosomatic pain and stress in their life as well. So now what's happening is that they started to feel safe with this hardening of their attitude, right? So where they normally would have had compassion or understanding for someone, that might now feel a little bit more numb because it's like, well, where's the understanding and the compassion for me? And rightfully so, because their circumstances and people in those circumstances have caused them to feel that way as well. So there's now this almost this feeling of like a switch that has taken place of why should I be the nice and kind one if no one can be that for me? I'm tired of giving. I'm tired of not receiving back. I'm tired of giving support. I'm tired of not receiving the same loving support back. You might be supported, but it's not the same loving support that you used to give in the past. So there has been a bit of a switch that has taken place. So what gallbladder problems basically now is asking you is, even if you don't feel safe to soften yourself up to the outside world, at least soften up to yourself. At least have that self-compassion for yourself. Start to break down that wall and that barrier, because if you want to have it with other people, and maybe it's necessary to have it with other people, I don't know who is in your life, but maybe it's necessary, but don't have that with yourself. You need to be there for you, especially if you are surrounded by people who can't be there for you in the way that you need them to. It's sometimes tough because sometimes we are around people or we have people in our life and we need them to love us or to cherish us and support us or communicate to us in a certain way, but they can't. And it's not because they don't want to, it's not because they don't really necessarily respect you, even though their behavior might be disrespectful. Is that it's more about that we tend to call them into a frequency that they cannot step into because they don't have a prior reference for even what that should look like, right? So that's where the frustration sometimes comes in with people when we try to call them into being a certain way when they just can't. So it triggers shame, it triggers guilt, it triggers awkwardness in them, and then that awkwardness can sometimes often be taken out on you, not consciously, not intentionally. It's more just like that knee-jerk reaction, which can just exasperate and fuel the already pre-existing stressful dynamic that was already there. So now this safety mechanism with feeling angry, the safety mechanism with feeling resentful, that is not your real true boundary. So, what this condition is asking you and showing you is to learn how to have strong boundaries with other people, but remain loving, remain connected to you, remain connected to your true, authentic self, because you have disconnected from that. And your body wants to go back to its natural, harmonious equilibrium. So I do hope that that helps. And you can remember, you can grab your copy of Metaphysical Anatomy on Amazon or on evettebooks.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time.